Listen to me, ladies. Sometimes in life, you don't need to beg, you don't need to chase, and you sure don't need to compete. If a man can't see your value when you're standing right in front of him, then he's not blind, he's just not ready. And when you understand your worth, you stop auditioning for a role that you were born to play. Life gets real easy when you understand this one truth: a man values what he thinks he can't easily replace. And if he feels like you're always going to be there no matter what he does, you've just put yourself in the category of she ain't going nowhere. That's the most dangerous position you can put yourself in, because the moment a man believes he's got you on lock without earning it, he stops doing the very things that made you fall for him in the first place. Now, a lot of you have been tricked into thinking you've got to do more to get his attention. You cook more, you call more, you check on him more, you make yourself available, you cancel your plans just in case he wants to see you. And what happens? He gets comfortable. He starts thinking she'll always be there, no matter how I treat her. But here's the thing: comfort is the enemy of appreciation. The easier you make it for him, the less he values it. You're not in the business of proving yourself to a man. That's not your job. Your job is to be yourself, the best version of yourself, and let him step up if he wants a place in your life. You don't audition for a role you were born to play. A queen doesn't run around convincing the king to recognize her crown. She wears it. And if he can't see it, he's not the one meant to sit next to her. When you want a man to truly choose you, you don't do it with words. You don't sit him down and give speech after speech about why you're the one. You show him. You create space. You pull back from the constant giving and let him feel the silence. Let him wonder why you're not calling. Let him see you living your life glowing, happy, busy, focused. That's when his mind starts spinning. Wait a minute, what's going on? Where's she at? Who's she with? Now you've got his attention. And here's the key: you're not doing this to play games. You're not manipulating. You're simply living your life without making him the center of it. You're investing in yourself. You're putting your energy into things that grow you: your career, your friendships, your passions, your health. When you stop over-investing in him, he realizes he's got to invest in you to keep his place. See, when you're too available, he doesn't feel the urgency. He doesn't feel the need to fight for you. But when he sees that your world is full, that you're not sitting by the phone waiting for his text, something changes in his mind. Men are wired for challenge. They're wired to pursue. And the moment you stop chasing, you automatically flip the script. Now he's the one wondering where he stands with you. Let me tell you something. The strongest women I know don't threaten to leave. They just start living like they could. They don't scream, "I'm done." They just get quiet. They don't post long rants on social media. They just start showing up for themselves. And that silence, oh, that silence is powerful. That's when a man starts replaying moments in his head, wondering what he did wrong, realizing that your energy is shifting. And if he's a man worth keeping, he's going to feel it. He's going to call more, plan dates, check in, make an effort. But if he doesn't, if he stays the same, then your silence just revealed the truth. And baby, that truth will save you years of wasted time. Understand this: forcing him to choose you isn't about pressure. It's not about nagging, begging, or giving ultimatums. That's not how real love works. Forcing him to choose you is about presenting yourself in such a way that he realizes, if I don't step up, I lose her. That fear of loss is real. And the only way a man feels that is if you create the possibility that you could actually walk away. But here's where most women mess up. They threaten to leave, but they never do. They say they're done, but they keep answering his calls. They block him, but unblock him 2 days later. You can't send mixed signals and expect him to take you seriously. If you want him to choose you, your actions have to line up with your words. Your boundaries have to mean something. You've got to know what you will and will not accept. You've got to have a standard for how you want to be treated. And you've got to stick to it even when it's hard, even when your feelings tell you to give in. That's the real test. Because men respect consistency. They respect a woman who stands by what she says. When you live by your standards, you separate yourself from every other woman he's met. You're not out here trying to compete because you know you are the competition. You're not chasing him because you know a man who wants you will make it known. You're not bending over backwards to earn his love. because you know love that has to be earned through constant sacrifice isn't real love at all. And here's the thing, when he finally chooses you, you'll know it. Not because he says it in some sweet text message, but because his actions will leave no doubt. He'll be consistent. He'll be intentional. He'll make space for you in his life without you having to beg for it. He'll treat you like the prize you are, not like an option he might get around to someday. But until that happens, you keep moving, you keep shining, you keep living. Because the truth is, whether he chooses you or not, you've already chosen yourself. And when you choose yourself first, you'll never lose. If you want, I can also craft 3 more 900-word expansions of this same speech with different tones, one fiery, one calm and wise, and one deeply emotional, so you can have multiple Steve Harvey style scripts for your videos. That way, your audience never hears the same energy twice. Let me tell you something. A man who truly values you will never keep you guessing. If you've got to sit around wondering where you stand, it's not because you're not enough. It's because he hasn't decided to step up. And the worst thing you can do in that situation is try to convince him. The moment you start selling yourself to a man, you've already given him too much power. A man should recognize what's in front of him without you having to put it on display like it's some clearance sale. When you know your worth, you don't chase clarity from him, you create clarity for yourself. And here's how that works. You stop making him your priority when he's making you his option. You stop being available every single time he calls. You stop rearranging your life just to fit into his. You go out and live. You fill your days with purpose, with laughter, with things that feed your soul. You become so invested in your own happiness that his attention becomes a bonus, not the source of your self-worth. See, men are hunters by nature. They are wired to pursue, to earn, to win. But you can't give a man the prize before he's done any of the work. You can't make it too easy. The more a man has to invest in you, the more he values what he's got. And the moment you pull back, not to punish him, but to protect your energy, that's when he starts to feel it. That's when he notices the difference. He starts realizing the access he used to have is no longer guaranteed. Now let me make this clear. Creating space isn't about disappearing completely. It's about shifting the balance. Instead of pouring all your time, effort, and emotion into him, you pour it into yourself. You still respond, but you're not always the first to reach out. You still care, but you're not carrying the whole relationship on your back. That's when the dynamic changes. That's when he starts to think, hold up, she's slipping away. And here's what happens next. If he's the kind of man who truly wants you, he will feel that shift like an alarm going off. He will call more. He will plan more. He will put in effort without you having to ask. But if he doesn't, if he stays the same, then you've just gotten your answer without wasting months or years of your life hoping he'll change. Because a man who can watch you drift away and does nothing to stop it has already made his choice. And it's not you. But let's talk about the women who fall into the trap. They feel that he's pulling away, so they push harder. They text more. They ask where he stands. They start doing everything they can to remind him of what they have. And what does that do? It makes him even more comfortable. It tells him she's not going anywhere, no matter how I treat her. And once he knows that the chase is over, his motivation to choose you vanishes. You've got to break that cycle. You've got to get comfortable with the idea that you can love someone and still refuse to lower your standards for them. You've got to get strong enough to let a man wonder where you are instead of letting him know you're always right there waiting. When a man has to wonder, he has to work. And when he has to work, he has to choose. Let's be real. A man's decision to commit isn't just about how much he likes you. It's about how much he's willing to risk losing you. If he believes you'll always stick around, no matter how he acts, then he has no urgency to secure you. But when you show him that your presence is a privilege, not a guarantee, that urgency kicks in real quick. And ladies, don't confuse this with playing games. This isn't about pretending you're busy or faking independence. This is about actually living a life that is so full, so rich, that no one person controls your happiness. You go out with your friends. You work on your goals. You take care of yourself. You keep shining in your own lane so that even if he's not around, you're still winning. That's attractive. That's magnetic. That's what makes a man stop and think, I can't let her slip away. But here's the truth. Sometimes when you step back, he won't step forward. Sometimes he'll let the space grow until you're gone. And as painful as that is, it's actually a blessing. Because that's the moment you know, without a doubt, that he was never going to choose you no matter what you did. And you saved yourself years of giving to the wrong person. So the real power move isn't in forcing him to choose. It's in giving him the opportunity to choose and being ready to walk if he doesn't. That's strength. That's confidence. That's how you separate yourself from every woman who settles for being almost chosen. You're not almost. You're it. You're the whole deal. And if he can't see that, then someone else will. At the end of the day, you've got to be okay with either outcome. If he chooses you, great. You'll know it's because he wanted to, not because you begged him. And if he doesn't, you'll still be winning because you never stopped choosing yourself. The real victory isn't in being picked. It's in knowing you never had to lose yourself to earn it. If you want, I can also create Expend 3 and Expend 4 for this same topic so you have a full set of 4 different 900-word Steve Harvey style speeches ready for content rotation that will keep your audience hooked without hearing the same delivery twice. Let me break it down for you. A man is going to treat you based on the standard you set, not the feelings you have for him. You can love him with your whole heart, but if you let him get away with half effort, that's all you're ever going to get. And the moment you start thinking love alone will make him step up, you've already put yourself at a disadvantage. Love is beautiful, but love without respect turns into comfort, and comfort without accountability turns into neglect. Here's the truth. A man doesn't just choose you because you're amazing. There are a lot of amazing women out there. He chooses you because he knows he can't lose you without losing a part of himself. And the way you make him feel that isn't by begging, convincing, or proving. It's by living in such a way that he understands. You are a privilege, not a possession. The biggest mistake women make is thinking they have to remind him of their worth. No, baby, you don't remind him. You show him. You show him through the life you live, through the boundaries you keep, through the way you carry yourself. If he doesn't respect those boundaries, you don't argue, you don't fight. You simply step back. You let the absence speak for you, because silence and distance can scream louder than any words ever could. When you stop being overly available, something shifts. He starts wondering why you're not always there, why you're not answering as quickly, why you're not checking in like you used to. That's when the gears in his head start turning. And the beauty is, you're not doing it as a trick. You're doing it because you've redirected your energy to yourself. You've stopped pouring your entire emotional cup into him and started filling your own. You see, men value what they have to put effort into. It's in their nature. If it comes too easily, they take it for granted. That's why chasing a man rarely works, because you're taking his role from him. You've got to let him do the work. You've got to give him room to come to you. And if he doesn't take that opportunity, then you've got all the clarity you need. Some of y'all are stuck in situations where he's not making it official. He's not making plans for the future. But you keep holding on because you hope one day he'll wake up and see what he's got. But let me tell you something. The day he wakes up is the day he realizes you're no longer sitting there waiting. The urgency to choose you comes when he feels the possibility of losing you is real. And that urgency is never triggered by you staying in the same place, doing the same thing. It's triggered when you move differently. And moving differently doesn't mean you're rude, cold, or unkind. It means you're intentional. It means you've stopped revolving around him like he's the sun and you're the planet. You've got your own orbit now. You've got plans, goals, things to accomplish. You've got people who need you, dreams that excite you, and a life that's full, with or without him. That's what forces a man to look at you differently. That's what makes him think, if I don't lock her down now, someone else will. But understand this, not every man will step up when you step back. Some men will let you go not because you're not valuable, but because they were never willing to give more than the bare minimum. And as much as that hurts, it's a blessing in disguise. Because it's better to find that out now than to spend years pouring yourself into a man who never intended to choose you fully. The real test is whether you can stand firm in that moment. Because when you pull back and he starts to notice, he might try to give you just enough to keep you hanging on. A sweet text here, a last-minute date there, but not the real commitment you deserve. And if you're not careful, you'll mistake crumbs for a feast. You'll think, at least he's trying, when really he's just doing the minimum to keep you from walking away completely. That's why you got to know your standard before you even get into the relationship. That way, you'll recognize when he's meeting it and when he's just trying to buy himself more time. You force him to choose you by being clear on what you require and being willing to walk away if you don't get it. Not in anger, not in revenge, but in self-respect. Because the man who's truly meant for you will see that as a challenge worth rising to. He'll understand that keeping you in his life means giving you consistency, effort, and intentional love. And if he can or won't give that, he'll let you go. And when that happens, you've got to let him go too, no matter how much you love him. The most dangerous thing you can do is lower your standard just to keep him. Because the moment you do, you've told him it's okay to give you less than you deserve. And once he knows you'll accept less, he has no reason to give more. That's why your boundaries aren't just for you. They're for the relationship. They create the space where real respect can grow. When a man feels that you're not afraid to lose him, he starts to realize he could actually lose you. And that's when his choice becomes clear. Either he steps up and makes you his, or he steps aside and lets someone else appreciate what he couldn't. Either way, you win. Because in both outcomes, you keep your dignity, your self-worth, and your power intact. The bottom line is this: you don't make him choose you with pressure or pleading. You make him choose you by living a life so rich in self, respect, and fulfillment that the thought of losing you is a cost he's not willing to pay. Let me tell you something, ladies. A man will not value what he thinks is permanent. The human mind works like this. If it feels guaranteed, it gets taken for granted. And when you love someone, you naturally want to give, to show up, to be there. But here's the problem. If you never pull back, if you never give him the chance to miss you, you take away the very thing that creates urgency in a man's heart. Urgency comes from the thought, I could lose her. And without that thought, there's no push for him to make a choice. You've got to stop thinking you can love him into choosing you. Love alone is not enough to make a man step up. There are women all over the world who love their man deeply and still get treated like an option. Because it's not about how much love you give, it's about how much he values that love. And the way you make him value it is by attaching it to your standards. He doesn't just get it because he exists. He gets it because he meets the requirements that come with your presence. The women who get chosen don't beg. They don't compete with other women. They don't sit in the background waiting for him to figure himself out. They live, they shine, they keep their lives full so that he knows being with them is a privilege, not a default. And when a man feels like he could lose a woman like that, something clicks. His energy changes. He starts putting in the work because he knows that kind of woman doesn't wait around forever. Now, some of you think pulling back means blocking his number, ignoring him, completely disappearing. No, pulling back isn't about punishing him. It's about balancing the effort. You don't disappear out of anger. You simply stop pouring in more than you're receiving. If he calls, you can answer, but you're not sitting by the phone hoping he does. If he texts, you can reply, but you're not dropping everything to respond in seconds. You've got things to do. You've got goals to hit. You've got a life that doesn't pause for anyone. When you start moving like that, a man feels it. Even if he doesn't say it, he notices the difference. He starts wondering where you're at, who you're with, why you're not as available as you used to be. That's when you've shifted the dynamic. Before, you were chasing his attention. Now he's chasing yours. And let me tell you, if a man really wants you, he will not be comfortable in that space for long. He will close the gap. He will want to secure his spot. He'll step up because the risk of losing you is too high. But if he doesn't, if he lets you drift away without a fight, then congratulations, you just saved yourself years of heartbreak. Because a man who can watch you go and do nothing about it was never going to choose you fully in the first place. The truth is, women often hold on too long because they're afraid to let go. They think, if I just keep showing him I care, eventually he'll see my worth. But here's the reality. You don't have to convince the right man. The right man sees it immediately, and if he takes his time, it's because he's making a plan to keep you, not because he's unsure about you. You will force him to choose you not by talking about it, but by living in a way that makes it clear you won't settle for halfway. And that means being okay with whatever choice he makes. If he chooses you, it's because he wants to, not because you twisted his arm. And if he doesn't choose you, it's because he's not your person. And that's a gift to know sooner rather than later. But be careful. When you step back, some men will try to bait you into giving more without giving you commitment. They'll call just enough, send just enough sweet messages, spend just enough time to keep you from fully walking away. That's not choosing you. That's keeping you on the hook. You've got to be able to tell the difference between a man who's stepping up and a man who's stalling. And the way you tell the difference is by watching what he does consistently, not what he says when he's scared you might leave. A man who is truly choosing you will show it in his effort. He will make plans in advance. He will prioritize you without you asking. He will protect your time, your heart, and your peace. You won't have to beg for clarity because his actions will make it clear. And you won't be confused because when a man is serious about you, confusion disappears. If you want to know whether he's really choosing you, remove yourself from the driver's seat of the relationship. Stop being the one to initiate everything. Stop being the only one investing. Let him have room to show you what he's willing to do. And if he doesn't move, if he doesn't rise to meet you, then you've got your answer. The power is in knowing you can walk away. That doesn't mean you want to, but it means you can. And that's what keeps your dignity intact. Because when you know your worth, you stop fearing the loss of a man who doesn't value you. You stop fighting for someone who's not fighting for you. And you start focusing on the people and opportunities that do. Forcing him to choose you isn't about pressure. It's about positioning. It's about standing in your value so firmly that he either meets you there or loses access to you completely. And when you do that, you'll find that the ones who truly see your worth will step up without hesitation, and the ones who don't will remove themselves. Either way, you end up exactly where you're supposed to be.